Okay, game on! Winner bracket final, ladies and gentlemen. Off we go. Washed up against Lauber's Fanclub. Game number 1 in the best of 5 division as playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. So, this is going to be a bit of a highlight. Of course, we are in the winner bracket final, which means whichever team loses still has a chance running through the lower bracket to make it into the grand final. Which also means, no matter how this series ends, we could actually end up in a rematch. Zul is banned. Just on the top of my head, just to let people know, Zul is actually banned out. He is currently banned. There's a bug with his skeletons on jailers, and that means that he can one-shot people right now in circumstances. So he is not part of this. He has, of course, seen a rework in the recent patch. That's kind of important to note here. Kerrigan gets banned, and so does Deathwing, as we're heading into our first pick and ban. And guys, also, again, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, make sure that you hit the thumbs up on the video. And another quick reminder that right now you can still support the stream and all the work here for absolutely free. If you have 2, 3, 4 minutes of your time, just check out the YouTube description. There's a link where you can download a game, play through a 20-second tutorial, and that in and of itself supports me already directly. Don't have to spend a single dime, can even uninstall the game right afterwards if you want, but in total that doesn't take more than 3 to 5 minutes of your time that you can do while we're going through the draft here, and it would be really helpful. So thanks for everybody that has already done it, thanks for everybody who's going to do it, it's really appreciated. This ban in particular is something that I still want to talk about a little bit though, because if you haven't really watched all of the games of the playoffs, Zarya at this point has really made her way straight up into being an absolute top pick on a ton of maps here. So she's been played a lot with Garrosh, obviously, so we have the speed barrier combo with Garrosh, which allows him to just rush into the opponent's team, flip a target back out, and then get an isolated kill. But generally speaking, we've just seen insane amounts of Zarya picks now to strengthen the 4-man that we have on most maps now, whereas a solo laner is then rotating between the 2 remaining ones in an attempt to just catch the experience now. So that is something that we're getting used to a lot more. It's not only isolated teams that have good Zarya players any longer, but it's pretty much every team that starts to respect this a lot more at this point. So we currently got the Ana ban after that. Leo again picked immediately. In Infernal Shrines we've even seen Leoric bans now. So Leoric is already banned out. We got ETC banned out too. Malfurion also, ETC picked. And yeah, Leo picked as well. In my head it was just like in previous games. Leo gets banned a lot now, but this is a good setup for them. They have a lot of wave clear on Leoric alone. He's fantastic for the Shrine fight, and he can also easily rotate between top and mid lane when needed. But the Vala setup here for Washed Up is also a little bit hype. In this case, we rely again onto the multi-shot build, very likely. We have seen a few approaches with an arrow build on the map, but multi-shot build is still the prevailing one, for good reason. I mean, you pretty much get damage against the opponent's team and against the objective whenever you fight on the shrine. Jaina gets banned out, so that eliminates at least some of the AoE that is oftentimes played on the map. And let's not forget that with Leo dropping an Tomb, that's more or less a perfect setup for Jaina to dish damage out. Doesn't matter if you have Ana in your team or not, but it still really matters that burst damage can drop a target quickly. Unless, of course, you have a Sanctification rally available that you can play around. Rhaegar gets banned, so no Lightning Shield for the Shrine fight. That's the next one. And what else? Well, for Vala you have to decide now if you want to have another hero that could help out with shields. Medivh comes to mind, of course. So since we have Hazorbs on their side, they could play Medivh if they wanted to allow them even more sustain. Banana Age with Alexstrasza. We've seen her a little bit more on this map. X-Ray actually has started to play her quite a bit on Infernal Shrines. Now, back in the days of HGC, especially the North American meta, heavily hinged around Alexstrasza and Dragon Queen usage during the Shrine fights, during the Punisher battle. Even to an extent where they also would drop Tychus in the mix so that they could use the Dragon Queen and Odin to try and dominate the objective. Sonya together with this. And there we go, Zeratul for Tai and Junkrat for Swamp Grotta. Okay, nice setup for them. A lot of poke from the outside, but Zeratul will be very, very interesting with this lineup right now. And we got, on the other side, we got the good old Hazorbs with the last pick. I mean, you can always shift the picks around, but the last pick now for Infernal Shrines, our first map in the best of 5 here in the winner bracket final. And what's it gonna be? They still need a bit more of a punch there. Could be a melee. Yes, it is Thrall. Alright, that sets us up. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 1, the best of 5, washed up against Lauber's Fanclub. Game on! Let's jump in, ladies. Yes, we have our first map and it's gonna be glorious. It is always amazing to see Washed Up going up against Lauber's Fanclub. These two teams have been on eye level for a long time here. But recently, we've seen a lot more success for Washed Up than we've seen for the Fanclub. So let's see if today the red team can overcome the powerhouse that is the blue team. Hazorps on Thrall. We got Banana H on Alexstrasza, Dequaza on Sonya, Nick on Vala, and Masquerade is playing Tyrael. On the right side of the map, Lauber's Fanclub, the former Granite Gaming team, with Henning on Malfurion, Lauber on ETC, Swampgrotta on Junkrat, Copenhagen on Leo, and Tai on Zeratul, one of his trademark heroes over here. It should be a fun one. Honestly, this is one of the highlights of the day of the tournament for sure. As I said, there's a chance that we see the same matchup again in the grand final, in the grand final at the end of the tournament. This is of course a winner bracket final, so the losing team will drop down into the lower bracket and has another shot of making their way towards the grand final through it. But there's a couple of teams that have really stepped it up significantly, so it's not necessarily a given that the team that loses here will make it to the grand final, since especially Feel the Heat lately has played some insane games. I mean, honestly, I really feel isolating them here and only naming them is not really doing the teams in this tournament justice. Paper My Lady, for example, got already eliminated from the tournament, but they played a couple of matches that were just absolutely spectacular. And it was mind-blowing that they did not advance through the winner bracket final. If you haven't caught up on these games and you watch this on YouTube right now, you should definitely go back a couple of days and look at those matches. It was absolutely insane. I can't really wait for the first people to start complaining again that there's too many games on my channel labeled epic. But, I mean, it's not my fucking fault if these teams start playing out of their damn mind, and that's just what it is. So cams are taken, and it seems like the Fanclub, for at least now, gets a slight advantage since they're claiming 2. We're the first ones to rotate to the bottom of the map. Zeratul with a Shadow Hunter build this time. I mean, we have 2 variations of builds that are being used on Zeratul, and all the Zeratul players, by the way, jump between both builds depending on their lineup and the opponent's setup. In this case, we don't see the variation with Cleave on level 1 and level 16, but instead Shadow Hunter on level 1 again. A bit more mobility for Tai through all of this. Top side now, also a one-on-one setup, but Lauber is sitting tight here, so he would really love for Sonya to overstep a little bit and then just simply move in. But Sonya, oh, actually in this case, yeah, greeting a little bit, and that's a kill. Look at this. Beautiful example of how to, well, not play. I don't really want to call Dequaza out here. I mean, he stepped out a little bit too quickly at this point. But this is a perfect example. At the beginning, he played it perfectly. He stayed on the mount. He didn't have any information about where the opponent's team currently was. He expected them to be at the bottom of the map, but he didn't step out at once. Everybody was hiding here. And then the second he ventures in a bit too deep and gets off the mount, they jump in and they take him apart. So it shows again how useful it can be to just sit tight on your mount, not push the lane out, play it safe when you don't have any vision on the minimap. And for all the players that are playing in Wood and Plastic League, the minimap is the thing at the bottom right that you can see here, where if you have opponent's heroes not in the fog of war, you can actually see them on the map. It's something that you should actually use a lot and something that is probably the most useful tool in Heroes of the Storm. Just a little bit of a PSA right there, since apparently this is still news to some people. So, now that the first shrine activates topside, this is where the first Punisher gets fought over, but Zeratul and Junkrat are both at the bottom of the map, so Washed Up is likely going to walk away with the first objective. What the red team is hoping for is some counter value at the bottom. Zeratul is now rotating slowly towards the top. They have the level 7 talent, so that's at least something, but the Punisher has already been taken. Off we go. And yeah, shots are getting fired right there. Copenhagen gets out, no problem here. Bait over the wall. That wasn't really a big issue either. And it seems like they can take this one down without losing too much. I mean, even the wall is still half intact. So that's pretty spectacular for them. Good defense. Great defense from the Fanclub. But for now, Ty is still sitting over here. Ty is just sitting in the corner, as is saying. He's like the spider in the web, seriously. He's just like sitting here and he's just beckoning anyone to come in his net just close enough so they can get some damage out. Of course, one of his goals is also to make sure that he gets those regeneration globes as quickly as he can, so that we have him with the completed level 1 quest, which would really help him here. But yeah. Middle of the map, Ty is sitting tight. Tarzorps on Thrall with the Echo of Elements completed. Has now gone into the Ancestral Wrath. As I, by the way, said a couple of times in the past, but it keeps happening, so I have to point it out again. If you pick Follow Through in level 7 on Thrall, you're doing it wrong. I don't really care what kind of reasoning you have. I don't care what your excuse is. If you pick Follow Through on 7, you're doing it wrong, period. Even with Echo of Elements. If you pick it with anything else than Echo of Elements, you do it even more wrong. And then it's like wrong, or very wrong, or totally wrong. I mean, everybody says so. But if you pick it, in general, just don't. Just really don't. Ancestral Wrath is the talent you want to go for. Yeah, thank me later. Hashtag learn to play. So, or learn to code. Both works. So, 2-0 in kills. And we still have level 10 coming through for the fan club. Slightly quicker. I don't really think they can force a fight. I don't really think so. I mean, we are going to watch Zeratul a bit more closely now that he has Might of the Nerazim. So, we're going to have a bit of a look of how this is going to work out for them. I mean, there's still a chance, of course, that he, with the mobility now, can jump in and take kills against, let's say, Vala, against even Alexstrasza here. So Zeratul, with his level 10 ability and the completed level 1 quest, is now all of a sudden insanely scary. And will try to just take them down slowly but steadily. Rest of the team is already moving back out. Level 10 is now ready for both teams, which gives us also sanctification, of course. And off we go. Up to the top. Well, let's have a bit of a look here. I mean, we're currently looking at the top side still between on this battle, and the two of them are really not doing a lot of fighting. It's more so just trying to stay alive on lane, and with Zeratul around, there is a big threat to Sonya that she gets ganked eventually. So she needs to be more cautious than she normally would be, I'd say. But now, we currently have our setup at the bottom of the map, and, well, the wall has been taken apart. The shrine gets announced. We are 6-7 minutes in. And the red team is still looking to do a bit of damage. Swampgorta is the only range damage dealer. I mean, he's just getting the nades in time and time again. But up here, maybe a chance to get some damage. Oh, the Entomb setup! And the immediate kill against Vala. No chance. They try to go for the counter kill, at least against Ty, but he jumps out already. Nicely done. Alexstrasza with a bit of extra damage, but the Tranquility keeps him alive. And what a beautiful kill against Vala here. Absolutely beautiful kill in this case. And it comes at the perfect moment. A great setup. They trap them with the Entomb, and then it's an insta-kill against Vala pretty much before there's any chance for someone to help out. Now the Riptide, on the other hand, could turn the tides of the battle as the blue team is still fighting for it. Yeah, Mosh Pit, it's dancing time, but the Dragon Queen comes in and quickly confirms that she's the Dragon Queen, not the Dancing Queen, so denies the Mosh Pit, and therefore there's no follow-up kill on anybody on the blue team side. There is a lead now for the fan club on the minions, on the objective, but can they actually get the objective itself? I mean, they're trying to. Good stun, though, from Vala. She comes in with a Rain of Vengeance. Swampgorta is low, and that's a double kill. ETC dead, and so is Junkrat, but they only need one more minion, and they get it. The Arcane Punisher makes it in. Leo still escapes. Sonya! Nice job. It was actually really cool Entomb that we saw from Leo in an attempt to close the gap and ensure his survival. But then Sonya comes in with a spear, takes it down, and, well, that's that. So, jump into the middle of the map now as we see the Punisher doing a bit of work. Zeratul is still rotating and tries to get some damage onto Sonya, I suppose, as she moves from lane to lane. Won't be able to kill her, but can always keep her on her toes. 13 against 13, and with that we also have Mending Strikes coming in for Zeratul right here. Bottom of the map, that's where we already got Lauber and Swampgorta in position. The two of them take the camp. On the left side we've seen the same, which leaves the bottom mercenary camp. And this is the one where you can actually now try and steal a bit of extra experience for yourself and your team. But you have to be careful too, because this is a great opportunity for another team fight. Leo is rotating in with Sonya topside. It looks pretty much like the red team is going to grab this for sure. Leo doesn't have to go all the way down. And I am surprised. Masquerade jumping in here, that is a big risk that he takes. The Entomb of Copenhagen could have led to a kill, but there weren't enough damage dealers in the area. But as it stands, we have the camp still taken. But Sonya, of course, used the time wisely at the top and is now able to get all of this pushed into the fort and take it down. There we go. Okay. And what else do we have with this? I mean, at this point, we have at the bottom of the map still still a slight threat to the blue team's heroes. It just shows again how aggressive this setup is that the fan club is playing. Through the pick on Zeratul alone already, but even the rest of the heroes, they're totally willing to just drop a few ults if they can lock someone down. And Tai just jumping in and dropping the fountain here is also great. Takes a lane sustain away. And they've already been waiting for it, but Tai is still able to jump out with any real problem here. So yeah, good job by him. Getting a bit more numbers onto the board. 21,000, 18,000. So Junkrat and Zeratul, as expected, are the two main damage dealers for them. 16k. It's the top damage for the blue team. Sonya holds that. Vala is only at 12,000. Couldn't really get as much damage done as she probably wanted to, especially since at the beginning of one of the objectives she was obviously taken down. Talking about taking down, Hazorps gets attacked again, runs into tower range once more to keep himself alive a little bit more. Masquerade! Yep, he gets dropped. Bit of a problem here for Tyrael. Tyrael is down again, and that's an issue. That's 4 kills against 3 in an early level 16 for Lauber's fan club. And with that, we now have also the Master Warblade right there. So even more damage for Tai. And once that we're looking at level 20, he is of course just going to jump all over the place in order to take the backline apart. He is insane on Zeratul. Honestly, watching him on Dino on Zeratul is just absolutely gratifying in any game. It is a total pleasure. The two of them hyper aggressive and they really keep the opponent on their toes. And it's always a bit of a battle of whether or not the opponent is able to lock them down and then get kills in. Because there's obviously a huge risk involved in these plays too. If you are trying to just nibble away at the opponent's hit points time and time again, and there's stuns or silences involved that they have, if you misstep once, you're gonna be dead immediately, and that sets your team heavily behind, and they're most likely gonna lose the team fight. So there's a huge amount of pressure on them too. Zeratul pushing the mid lane a little bit. Look at the minimap, by the way. The top lane is under heavy pressure from 2 camps. The forts is falling 100%. They might even get some damage on the keep if this persists for long enough. 26 stacks already, though. Zeratul comes in and the kill from ETC as he goes for the guitar straight against Alexstrasza. Vala is dead too. And at this point, it's not looking pretty for the blue team at all. They're going to lose more than only that. Tai is already going in for Hazorps. Oh, what a nice wolf setup, but it's not enough to save him. Tyrael is dead too. They want to go for the 5-man wipe here. Quasar is on the move. Might be slowed down again, but he could actually escape here, and indeed does. So he gets out. Top fort has already fallen, as expected, and now they can just simply take the objective, steal a couple of additional camps away, and take it from there. What a setup again. Also slows, by the way, from a frost shot now in. We also have the nerves of steel, so even more survivability for her. But with 8 kills against 3, the fan club, ladies and gentlemen, doing incredibly well. Bottom fort and mid fort are most likely both going to fall. The one in the middle could theoretically be saved if they really feel the defense, but it doesn't really look like it. Those Khazras are going to do solid work. Yeah, Leo also taking the vision down. At the bottom of the map, the Punisher has pretty much taken no damage. I mean, 8%, who cares? As he moves now towards the keep itself, where he's going to be baited over the wall, so that the defense is a little bit easier. And here we go. There's the jump. And they're breaking through the small wall already, trying to see if they can maybe follow up on a Punisher stun, which right now isn't really the case. Leo is pushing the mid lane with a double camp, by the way, so they're trying to open up the entire keeps now, not only the one at the bottom, but they have a chance of actually eliminating this. I mean, Sonya with the spin to win is trying to take these Khazras down, but that keep is losing hit points quickly. Their fan club, ladies and gentlemen, mad value through all the camps that they've been claiming and the objective that they just secured for themselves. This is a great first game for them in this best of 5, and they likely will take the lead here. I mean, it takes a big fight for Washed Up to come back into this now. There's a 3-level lead for the red team. They're 3 levels ahead, and they have a level 20 now as well. Tai needs to be a bit careful. He's trying to go for Hazorbs here. Oh, holy shit. That got dangerous for just a second. His 16 talent definitely doing work at this point. Just looking at the damage output is already going to tell you that. 35,000, he's a top damage dealer in this game right now. And that's without cleave talents and AoE. Tyrael is dead again. Big Entomb. The Buried Alive is in. They're trying to go for a few more kills here. Nick is just attacking whatever is in range, trying to get more damage connected. But Tai is all over the place. Jumping in, jumping out. Copenhagen looking for another slow, for another Entomb whenever the cooldown is ready. And this is getting quite nasty here. So we have everyone starting to jump straight onto the keep again. The bot one has already been annihilated, as I said previously. And this one is going to fall too. Still 3 levels behind. Is going to take an eternity for Washed Up to get their level 20 talents. And that is the biggest problem right now. Tai again not giving up, always looking, hey, can we maybe get a kill somewhere? Can I drop someone low enough that maybe someone else can follow up on it? Do I have a chance to maybe put a spotlight onto Junkrat, slow someone down, allow Junkrat to set a mine in place, and then catapult them back into the team? And he's just occupying them the entire time. Nick is trying to finally slow him down, okay. There's the 20 already used, Might of the Narazim by Tai as the Frost Shot connects in order to save his own ass. But the time that he bought allowed the rest of the team to go straight up for the camp and take the Shaman camp away. The entire map is red. The entire map is red at this point. Alright, so, same time now. We have the Buried Alive. Junkrat, wait for the I hate waiting. He's not the only one. He is definitely not the only one. 9 kills against 3, and now the pressure at the top lane. Why would they do anything else? They still have a talent advantage, so of course they're going to go from lane to lane. Quasar and Tai are locked into a small one-on-one. Hazorbs is helping out there too, and Tai is immediately backing off. But the top lane is getting attacked more and more, which results in now a destroyed gate, and they can take the tower apart as well. Objective is being announced, and down here the catapult gets protected by Tai. Quasar wants to go for it, but the one-on-one versus Zeratul is nasty. So he needs to be cautious with that. The Arcane Punisher in the middle of the map now is going to be a different story though. So Swamgrota just rushing around the map here. Oh god, it's awesome. Just rushes around the map in an attempt to take another camp. Talking about camps, Zeratul is at the bottom, taking another one too. They don't have level 20, but they still have to fight. This is a shitty spot for Washed Up to be in, because they need to take this battle. Doesn't matter if they have Storm Talents or not, they can't allow the opponent to get that Punisher. So they have to be here, even though it's a horrible fight for them. Tai is missing the Singularity Spike, gets some damage connected, but they're buying, of course, time for the rest of the team. And keep these lanes in mind. I mean, look at the minimap. Every single lane is currently pushing against them. Oh, Lauber with a mosh pit, and then it gets denied by Junkrat. But still, the kill against Tyrael. Camp at the top, camp at the bottom are both now pushing heavily. The mid lane also in trouble. Yeah, Alexstrasza can't keep Vala alive. Hazorbs is about to fall too. That's that. And this is a mad problem right now. Banana Age is also dead, and ladies, this is game. I mean, yeah, Tai is not even bothering anymore with the final kill against Sonya here, but as the 5-man wipe comes through, he goes straight for the core, starts to attack it. As you can tell on the minimap, the top lane gets now attacked by a camp plus also catapults, so this keep is eventually also going to fall. Arcane Punisher is now taken, and they take a very, very decisive victory against Washed Up. Nicely done. 14 kills against 3. Very, very well played by the fan club as they take the lead in the best of 5 series here at the winner bracket final. GG, well played. Game number 2, Towers of Doom. Let's go. Fan club with a very, very good first game here. Very impressive, actually. And again, also the Zeratul setup that we saw from Tai having a huge impact on it. Definitely, of course, not the only thing. I mean, we saw great plays all across the lineup. But it was a very dominant win. Really dominant winner on the first map. Now, these best of 5 series throughout the tournament have been nuts. Absolutely nuts. And therefore, this is something where I'm just saying, hey, let's just wait that out. Because oftentimes when you see a team dominating the first 2 maps, you're like, yeah, that's over. But we thought that a few times yesterday, and we had more than one reverse sweep, so it was kind of crazy. And let's see how this is going to work out right now. The first thing that happens is that ETC gets banned. I guess Deathwing gets banned for sure. Ana banned now together with that. I suppose you could theoretically think about a Zeratul ban. They played it several times here as well. But Zeratul has actually fallen off a little bit for the teams that really play him. And that's the fan club, and that's also, of course, Dino himself. In a lot of the games that we've seen recently, they haven't really relied on him as heavily as they previously did. So showcasing not only that they have a lot more depth to their hero pool, but also that they don't necessarily think it's always the best answer. But on this map at least, the bigger map where he can rotate, he still gets banned out. Now all eyes are of course on Deathwing, and it's instead Kerrigan that gets banned. So Deadwing can be picked, and should be right now. Normally it's an insta pick more or less, but that's an interesting twist. This is a map where a lot of Kerrigan was played by Nick, and just generally speaking, Nick's Kerrigan is of course nuts. So all of a sudden Deathwing is open, since the fan club just says, well, he is an issue, but at the same time we've seen your Kerrigan, and no thank you. And they go for Vala. Nice! Okay, we are shifting. Therefore the insta lock-in, Deathwing and Leoric both get instantly picked, so we're gonna have another melee together with this. Leo rotating. But that is an interesting twist now all of a sudden. Deathwing not only not banned, but not first picked either. So that's actually pretty amazing. That is awesome. I like that. That's a nice twist to a draft that we usually don't get that much. Okay. Malthael and Malfurion. That is, by the way, a pretty awesome skin if you go for the white, well, the white tint. I think the white tint is the best when you use this particular one. Looks pretty awesome. Now we got the ban phase coming in, the next one. But I'm still pretty happy that we have a setup in which Deathwing is actually played within Europe, because it's not really all that common. You go over to North America and you see Deathwing in pretty much every second game, it feels. But in Europe, the hero has been banned out ever since he got released. Blizzard comes in with a patch and nerfs him. Europe looks at this and is like, nope, still too strong. Blizzard comes with another patch. Europe is like, nope, still too strong. Blizzard drops the third patch, nerfs him again. Europe is like, nope, still too strong. And it's true, every single game where he made it through the draft, through the bans, and there weren't many of them, but he pretty much won. So now that we have him in this game, it's kind of crazy to see that Washed Up simply said, you know what, let's forget about it. Vala is of course a big threat to Deathwing too once she hits level 16 in Manticore, and even more so if you have level 20. Malthael is another one that can be an issue, but this will be an interesting game to say the least. Pretty hyped for that. Okay, so bans on Garrosh and on Tyrael. Okay, so we don't get any sanctification plays. Especially Washed Up has played a lot with Tyrael lately. But where do we go from here? What is Tai gonna play? That's also gonna be interesting. Anubarak and Li Ming. Okay, that's gonna be fun. I haven't seen his Li Ming in a while. Yeah, Nubarak is in. Can already go for the deny here with the cocoon. And since they pick Li Ming together with it, it also means that you can't burn the cocoon down with Disintegrate. I mean, Li Ming is a bit of a counter pick to Anubarak because it can shut down his heroic ability down. Especially in the lower leagues, a lot of people think that because of the beetles that get spawned, Anubarak is a counter to Li Ming. Nothing could be further from the truth. The opposite is actually the thing. Oftentimes when you see a team go for Anubarak, the opponent's team will lock down a Li Ming so that they use Disintegrate against Cocoon, which is a positive trait for you in cooldowns, and a good Li Ming will always be able to still just angle the damage against either Anubarak or simply go for a different target and dodge those beetles completely. And Tai's Li Ming is very solid. I love Medivh though, because I already said on the last map that Medivh would be a decent pick for Hazo Ops, and now we actually get to see that. Masquerade also with Mal'Ganis. And yeah, last pick, let's bring it. We still need the support, and Henning jumps on Rhaegar. Towers of Doom is our second map, so let's go straight in and see if Deathwing can win it here, or if Washed Up will tie up the series. Game number 2. Washed Up is behind, and they want to remedy that little thing. So now Hazops on the left side is playing on Medivh. We have Nick on Vala, Banana H on Malfurion, Dequaz on Malthael, and Masquerade on Mal'Ganis. And on the right side of the map, Henning playing Rhaegar for Lauber's Fanclub, Svamgrotta on Deathwing, Tai on Liming, Lauber on Nuburak, and of course Copenhagen on Leoric for the rotation right here. And Deathwing immediately with a Molten Blood here today. We have a few more variations lately on the build. And a Nuburak, look at that. Actually going into the Legion of Beetles right here. Interesting setup. I'm a little bit curious to see how this build is going to continue for Lauber. Is he actually going to go full Beetle? Are we embracing the memes at this point? I mean, the bug report is already getting prepared, I can tell you that much. A bit of portal time, and that's going to be the linchpin in this game. How good is the Medivh play this time from Haseops? Can he set those kills up? Can he save the targets? Lauber is already getting chased a little bit, but Beetles everywhere. And the cool thing about Beetles, of course, in general, is that if you are trying to dive on some structures, you can always do that with a Nuburak and then just spawn a lot of Beetles that will soak up the tower shots, which makes it way easier for you to take structures down and be aggressive towards them. So that's something to definitely keep in mind here. Yeah, they go for Lauber. Yes, actually is eating a lot of damage. It was good lockdown, but the damage output wasn't quite there. Vala was at the bottom of the map, so they couldn't really do anything here. Bot lane, Tai, still sitting tight. We have both teams now aiming for their pumpkin camps as the 1 minute mark has already spawned. So let's have a look at this. And let's see. Top side, Malthael is currently doing his thing. Down here, the invade attempt by Masquerade. I mean, damn son, that's a little bit ballsy. What are we for? But of course, he has Medivh in him, and well, Medivh is cheating, so we get the portal, and he just simply moves out. No problem, my friend. Easy peasy. Moves out. Level 1, the portal mastery. And now it's time for camps at the top lane too. But let's go. Level 4 talents. Let's see how this is actually progressing. I want to especially know what's happening on the side of Lauber. First of all, we get punishment in, which means multi-shot build for Vala as usual, and also the die alone for Malthael. With now the bot lane still being attacked. Yeah, Infernus, normal pick on level 4 for Deathwing. And off we go. Still no talent for Lauber. Alright, the Nuburak, let's go. What are we gonna get here? Yeah, okay. So he starts to switch over into the Burrow Charge build, which makes me very, very happy. A full Beetle build would have honestly just ruined my day here. But there's a kill! Yes, the Molten Flame. Nice. Deathwing, baby, coming in with the first blood. Nicely done. How do you want your Vala? Medium rare, please. Oh, well done. Okay, so Svamgrotta in the mid lane now, and with the first altar phase, it of course means that triple altars are active. Usually we have top left, top right exchange, and then a focus onto the bot lane, so we can already prepare for the fight right over here and see how this is gonna go. Yeah, Nuburak. He gets locked down hard. I mean, every single engagement with Mal'Ganis is immediately followed up by a good route from Malfurion. Portals to help them to get out here. The channel is happening. The interrupt. Vala came in pretty deep, and they're zoning them out for now, but it's a 5 versus 5 now in just a second, because Malthael is with the team. In comes Deathwing, says hello real quickly. The drain against Mal'Ganis drops him a bit, and he needs to move out. But there's already the attack pattern, as both teams are fighting for the next 4 shots on the altars. Banana Age, trying to get it as we speak. Can't quite. Gotta be careful with this one. And both teams are totally unwilling to let this one go. Leo has moved into the mid lane though. The goal obviously being get level 7 with this. But that allows Banana Age to get the channel through. Nice. I mean, the idea was there. We're trying to get level 7 quickly. If they have it a bit sooner than the blue team, they can fight for the altar and force them back. But then they weren't in range for another interrupt, and that allowed Malfurion to get the channel completed. And that's now 32 points on the core of the fan club and 36 for Washed Up. Level 7 talents. That brings us Calamity. We also have the Subterranean Shield now. No big surprises overall. But on the side of Deathwing, we have again Skyfall. Now, Skyfall and especially Infernus are the traditional picks here on level 4 and level 7 on the European side. We have seen on the level 1 talent a few different setups. I mean, usually what you see from most of them is actually Molten Flame focus on level 1 as well, but we've seen the Draconic Might also from Blade, for example, when he got his hands on the Deathwing. On the North American side, builds are a little bit more all over the place from my experience thus far. 15 stacks now on the level on the baseline for Medivh. Deathwing comes in, 4 versus 4, and there's the Molten Flame again. Swarmgoda is definitely having some fun here, you can tell. And this game is a little bit of a test also. I mean, Washed Up is pretty much coming in and saying, okay, we believe that we can deal with Deathwing. They picked Vala over Deathwing. They said, well, we want to make sure that we're going to win this game. We know that Tai likely is going to go on Vala if we don't pick her. So let's pick Vala instead of Deathwing and see if we can deal with the dragon. So that's pretty much a bit of a test case for them. And so far, most of the test cases that we've seen in Europe were in a competitive environment. Deathwing was led through the bans and then picked. The dragon won the game, so we'll see if this is going to be true for this one as well. But at least right now, the lead in experience definitely goes to the red team. Deathwing already completing the channel. On the left side, of course, we're going to see taken by the blue team. It's the even exchange again. But it also means that down here in the middle, we still have a bit of a skirmish happening as level 10 abilities finally drop into the hands of the red team. Bellowing Roar is in. There's also the Cocoon. And noteworthy that, of course, Li Ming can now still pick her Wave of Force. Again, if you play against the Nubarak, this is the one talent that you will change because you're trying to burn the Cocoon down. So that's when you see Disintegrate taken in the competitive environment. You won't see a decent Li Ming play with Disintegrate if there's no Nubarak with Cocoon on the other side. I mean, it might happen in 1 out of like 100 or 1,000 games, but yeah, it's all about Wave of Force, all about the playmaking skills there. But here comes the last rites for Malthael. So Washed Up has also grabbed their level 10 abilities. We have Strafe and the Leyline. Okay. And still a little bit of a dodge around here. Next objective is going to be a single altar at the bottom of the map, so prepping for that is going to be quite a bit of fun, because we can expect a pretty massive fight over that. Top line. That's where still Leo and Malthael are fighting it out, but it's about the camps at this point. And it seems like the red team is totally willing to invade instead of going for their own. No even trade this time. Instead, the aggressive stance. In comes Copenhagen. Has the Entomb. Could use it. Cocoon on Medivh as they're trying to go for the kill. Can't grab it just yet. They're going for Masquerade instead. Deathwing comes in. Wants the Molten Flame, but there's the Leyline. Hazu in trouble. Hazu needs to be careful. He's at 23 stacks. He can't die here, but the setup in the last rites against Leoric gets the first stack for Malthael. Deathwing! Yeah, he gets out. Nicely done by Washed Up. They get the kill against not only Nubarak, but also against Copenhagen. So Anub plus Leo are down. Deathwing barely makes it out, and they also take the camp. And of course, in addition to that, they get the channel at the bottom of the map, thanks to 2 heroes still missing. That's a really cool move from them. They all of a sudden turned the game a little bit. I mean, it's a weird thing to say turn the game because they were ahead in hit points on the core, but they were able to get a huge amount of momentum despite the fact that they were significantly behind in experience. So they got 2 kills, the first 2 that they locked in, and now they also control the bottom of the map since they got through the pumpkin camp and the lack of defenders and easy access at the bell tower and converted that over. So really nice setup for them. And that is going to make it very tricky for the fan club now. So we'll see if they can turn this around, but this game has shifted massively over the last 2 minutes here. Let's take a bit of a look at the damage output. 16,000 now for Deathwing. We got Li Ming with 14k. Now with level 13 talents ready for Washed Up. We have also Inevitable End, by the way, which is going to be really nice for them. 26,000 for Vala. So far the trust in Nick and his Vala skills has proven to be justified. 13 talents now on both teams, and that gives us for now the Wicked Inferno. Okay, outside of that, still the pressure at the bottom of the map. Top lane, the one-on-one. And 1 stack for Malthael, so he gets a bit of a cooldown reduction, but it's nothing to go crazy about at this point. But let's have a bit of a look here at the next setup, because now we have 2 altars popping up again, and there's still the problem that we control 5 bell towers against 3. That Washed Up does that. Okay, so starting to move down to the bottom of the map. Banana Age is already sitting in a spot where it's very unlikely that he's going to be interrupted at all, unless Deathwing wants to do the honors here, which is likely, by the way. But they're already attempting to channel right now. Here comes the Entomb. Masquerade might be in trouble, but Medivh saves his ass. Or does he? The Cocoon is in. And they still won't be able to get him. And down to the bottom of the map, the channel just continues, but Deathwing is dropping in and says hello. So the Dragon is a bit isolated. I mean, honestly, Deathwing is in a really weird spot now, because he can't move to the left, he can't go to the right. On both lanes, he has a bell tower against him. And down here, has to fly out now. Let's see if he can make that happen. They're chasing them away. Henning is trying to do his thing. Quasar wants to interrupt, so does Mal'Ganis. And the channel at the bot lane came through. That's 5 shots fired against the Fanclub. Leyline Seal is already in. Once again, the Bellowing Roar trying to push them back here. But that could be the second channel by Banana Age. And that's another 5 shots if they get it. But the interrupt is there. Impale is ready, and they're fighting for it. They need to at least get one. If they drop even lower, that would be a massive problem for the Fanclub, but the shots are taken, and that's 14 points against 32 now on the core. Bad spot to be in for the red team. They did a fantastic job in game number 1, but now they're struggling. And Ubera can be helpful, by the way, reclaiming the bell tower. I talked about it initially, that if you have the beetles spawning, you can easily dive onto a structure and help your team to get some cover while you're going for it. But there's always a defender ready for washed up to make sure that that doesn't become a problem. So now that another attempt is happening, the Lauber is diving in deep. There's not everybody is with him. Oh, Quasar! Can they actually win this? Kotmang is just now coming in, gets the Entomb, but only hits one, but it's Nick, and that would be the perfect kill, and they actually get it. They took the camp, they reclaimed the bell tower in just a second, and now they're going for kills. Unfucking-believable. Lauber went in pretty much alone at this point, and I don't really know how the voice communication sounded at this point, but I just imagine him yelling, let's go, we can do this. And all of a sudden, the blue team starts to drop in HP. They pull everything that they have. Now they are also ahead massively in experience. They have 16 against 15 on the board, and that was a massive fight. And it was initially a 5 versus 3 pretty much in favor for Washed Up. 2 heroes arrived a little bit late to the battle, Leo being one of them, rotating from the top side. But now there's a mad amount of momentum for the Fanclub. Now, they are behind, massively behind on core points. That's definitely true. Washed Up is easily doubling the amount that they have. But that fight was important. That fight was actually incredibly important. Taking the kill, taking the pumpkins, allowing them to reclaim the bell tower, and now being in the lead with the talent, that is quite something. And they get this one easily. Okay. Here we go. There's the exchange. So, 3 versus 2 setup. Boom. 24 against 10. Triple altar phase. Once more. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, now of course the pressure is mounting up against Washed Up as the red team is attempting to get bell tower control. Blind as a bat is in. There's a level 16 talents, and of course it is as expected. Manticore for Vala. Even more of a threat against Swarm Grotta. Did he just use Bellowing Roar? Did he just fat finger his R button, or am I crazy? What? Did I miss something, or was there zero reason to do that? Quest completed for Hazorps, nicely done. Baseline is done, so that helps. What do we have on the damage numbers? 30,000 for Deathwing. Not quite top damage in the game, but fighting a battle with Liming over who takes the top damage on the red team at least. Masquerade is moving in again, but it's all about the camp at this point. Pumpkin camp. Next one is getting attacked here. Bellowing Roar is soon going to be up again, another 20 seconds. But first of all, they're starting to go for Vala with a good Cocoon. They get the kill against Malthael. Leyline stopping Deathwing mid-flight. What's happening here? That's some powerful Leyline that we see there. So Malfurion is still down, so that's a double kill for the red team, but that was actually kind of nuts. Leyline stopping Deathwing in the middle of his flight. Okay, now with those 2 kills, they're not even using their ults, the bell tower is definitely going to fall at the bottom. Leo is already at the top again, pushing this even more. And there is mad momentum now for the red team. And they need it. They need momentum. They're so far behind in core points that they need to build a lot of pressure up in order to make this happen. Staggered deaths against the blue team would be fantastic. Let's see if they can actually do that, but it doesn't really seem like it. with Hazops on Medivh in the vicinity, there's very little that can be done to take a target down unless you work around his cooldowns. So, there's the channel. This time it's going to be 5 shots fired, which brings us now to 19 to 10 points on the core. So they're slowly getting there. Still a lot of work to be done, but in a double altar phase, which is likely to pop up next, this is definitely going to be doable if they hold on to that control. And the problem for Washed Up is, of course, the experience lead. 2 levels ahead, even more, means that the fan club will get a very early level 20. And they're actually trying to go for the boss. Nice. It's actually it's not a dumb move. You're trying to go for boss because your opponent is going to get level 20 any second. The problem is it was sniffed out immediately, and since 20 is so close, they have to abandon the idea. But the thought itself was definitely a good one. So now instead they're rotating down to the bottom, since all the defenders of the bot lane have moved into the boss area. And now there has to be a decision made by the fan club. Do they go for the boss themselves and let the bottom bell tower be recovered? Or do they just come back down and defend it? And they decide in favor of the defense. And now that they have level 20, Washed Up is not going to go for the boss any longer because it's just way too risky for them to go in for it. Yeah, a few shots potentially fired. Not quite. But it's 20 on the board now, which gives us 4 now stood in the fire for Deathwing. Also, Tal Russia's elements for Li Ming, and the most important talent on level 20 is of course Buried Alive. Single altar, no double altar, single one at the bottom of the map. It's pretty good for Washed Up, could be way worse. If they let this one go, that's 5 shots fired against them, which would still mean that they are ahead in general. But of course there is more bell tower control that could theoretically be taken from them. Fan Club is still sitting here trying to do their thing. Now that Deathwing is rotating in, not really going to be an issue there. It's a little bit of sneaking around by Medivh. It's a little bit scary, honestly. I mean, Medivh is at the end of the day nothing else but a peeping Tom. It's like, if you ever have a bird that is like suspiciously weirdly looking into a changing room, you definitely know what Medivh does in his free time. Lockdown against Lauber already. Same, by the way, goes for Zeratul, just saying. There's a reason why that guy is so stealthy. And it's not that he wants to succeed in battle. Can tell you just that much. And that Nova can do it too just shows you that girls are naughty as well. So another shot already fired with the pumpkins. That means we have 12 now. Thanks, in addition to also, of course, the bell tower that was claimed bot side. So 12 against 10. And yeah, this is getting incredibly close. But 20 talents will change the dynamic of the game by quite a bit. Especially since Vala will have a much easier time with a Manticore on level 16 to get some serious damage out against Deathwing. This bell tower, though, is up for grabs at any point, which is a problem. But let's take a quick look at the damage output now, too. 44,000, 39,000 for Li Ming and Deathwing. 50,000 for Vala. And Leo still rotating. Look at this output. Look at the siege damage output for the 2 solo laners. 150,000 and pretty much 60,000 at this point. Vala has a ton as well, but still, this is nasty. Okay, so once again, this one up for grabs at any point, and now that the altars are going to be up, they will take this. I mean, they pretty much let this stand so that it can't be retaken, but now they can just drop the damage in with anyone. One combo from Tai is all that's needed. Yeah, and Tai can now move in for it. Blue team knows it as well. That's why they're so aggressive here. They have level 20 talents now, and they want to make sure that nobody gets close enough to get a combo set up. Leyline, Medivh cheating the shit out of the game again as he's trying to set up a kill opportunity. Can't quite make it happen. There's the Molten Core for a bit of a defensive mashup. Bellowing Roar not used yet. Medivh still trying to portal them in, but in comes Deathwing. Jumping away immediately, everybody just tapping at the fountain for now. Bottom is still getting attacked, so that's another 3 shots that will be fired against the core, putting it down to single digits. In addition to that, we have up here Copenhagen going for the exchange, and that's lots of shots fired. Bam, down to 4 points. Which means you go boss, you end the game. Top left is getting channeled by 2. Deathwing is interrupting, of course, a bit, which means down here we have a 4 versus 3 fight for just a bit longer. And let's have a quick look. Right now, Svamgrota coming again, taking the claim here. Yes, 3 shots fired against the red team. So now we have 4 against 7. What a game again. I mean, seriously. It's only the 2nd game in this best of 5. And it is looking pretty powerful. And they again make the attempt to steal another pumpkin camp away from their opponent. 6 bell towers against 2. 6 city plays all over the place here. Bellowing Roar already used. The N2 missing. No buried alive over here. Copenhagen has to power immediately. But they could let this one slide. They could let it slide. Medivh with a save. The jump into the backline by Nubarak. But Rega is dead. Rega is down and they overstayed their welcome a bit. Already retreating, trying to save themselves at the bell towers. They need to wait for the doggy to be back on the board. For now, here's the attack. Here comes the blue team. Trying to maybe even interrupt. Lauber is in deep shit. Yeah, Lauber is completely isolated here. Can he jump out? That's the question. He's gonna try. Yeah, tries to get the stun out. And here's the move, and it's not gonna happen. Nope, that's a delayed kill against the Nubarak. Nicely done by Washed Up. And now they can not only reclaim the bottom bell tower, but they have actually a chance to gain some momentum. The problem, of course, that Washed Up is facing is that even if they retake 2 bell towers, it's still going to be 4 under the control of the fan club. But this is something that they can definitely do. Stagger deaths against the opponent. So this is going to be the big question now. How much damage can they do here? They can recover the bell tower in the middle, and they can recover the bell tower at the bot lane without any real work being done now. And if they then take the boss and the altar, the game's over. So they have a chance now to finish the game right here. This is why Deathwing is sitting tight. It's getting insanely clutch, guys. Insane. For the last 5 minutes, the fan club has just absolutely hammered Washed Up into the ground. But right now, it's a different story. 3 shots fired. Boss is going to do it. 4 on both sides. But we have a 3 versus 5. They're trying to buy time as much as they possibly can. And they are aiming to delay this as much as possible. Bellowing Roar could be the play. He's already moving on to the point. Boss isn't taken yet. Buried alive! And he stopped! He's barely stopped! Look at this shit! They barely didn't make it. Leo is down. Rega jumps in. Nubarak tries to. Holy cow. That was so insanely close. This is game. Washed Up. They take the victory. But damn, was this close. The Bellowing Roar nearly won them the game here. But Washed Up is victorious in game number 2 and ties up the series. GG and well played. Game number 3, everybody! Quite the finish on Towers of Doom. I was pretty hyped, to be honest. I mean, it was so close. 1 more second, not even half a second on the channel, and they grab it. But the Bellowing Roar was not enough to deny it completely, so the fan club losing out on the boss and therefore losing out on the game here. And now we're heading into Alderac Pass on an even score between the 2 teams. Pretty happy about that, very happy about it. Alderac Pass has given us interesting games yesterday, very interesting games. And I want to know if we have another one of these like macro setups here. Is Abathur, for example, making it through the draft? Karin is getting banned against Nick again. I can't really blame them for banning Karrigan out, but then on the other hand, you know, I'm sitting there, I'm just like, come on, Nick, bring her back. Bring the Queen of Blades back into play. Abathur is still something that is up. Deathwing lost the last game. I mean, it was close, don't get me wrong. But can Deathwing actually make it through another draft, or will he be banned out again? And let's not forget that the fan club has first pick, first ban. So there's of course that. Red team. Gonna be ready for the next ban here. Deathwing up. Globals are still ready. Can ban out one of the supports. Ban Ana against Banana. I mean, it's literally his name. Ban Ana. So, nope, they ban Abathur. Which means that he has actually a shot of getting Ana, unless the fan club takes her. Which could happen. Could be the play here. I love how they hesitate on the Deathwing ban. Now it's all of a sudden, do we ban him? Do we ban something else? Do we let him go through again? It's a big map. It's like, And it's Zarya instead. Deathwing making it into another game. Yep, Deathwing game number 2 in the winner bracket final. And he's not immediately locked in. The fan club is actually looking at this now too. It's just like, and they pick Ana away. Yeah, of course, that was the alternative. Banana on Ana. No, thank you. So first pick Ana once again. This is going to be a fun one. This entire series has all of a sudden started to shift a little bit in the way that they're approaching the current pick and bans. Just simply because of the few games that we've already seen here. This entire tournament actually has already produced some changes to all of it with the higher priority that we have in Zarya now. And Deathwing is ignored. Tyrael and Reyna. They love to play with Reyna, and lately in particular they are just banning, they're first picking Tyrael whenever they can. So there's that. And now the fan club is also thinking about how they're going to play this out. Now, keep of course in mind, if they don't pick Deathwing now, which they do, but if they would let it through, then they could also ban it out on the next phase. But here comes Leo again and Deathwing. So it's pretty much the same setup that they were running in the last game so far, with the exception that they have a different support here, of course. But yeah, the Leo and Deathwing combo, once again for them. Need that damage dealer still, which we will get eventually. But let's go. So, what's the ban against them now? Main tank or damage? Yeah, they go for Li Ming. With Ana in, there's obviously a nano boost that can be dropped onto any mage, so they're a bit more cautious about letting them have Ana in this case. Which now brings us to a Malthael ban, so they're trying to deny a bit of the potential damage output against Deathwing. So no Malthael against Deathwing, no Leo against Deathwing. Could go for the Wolf and drop the bullet. Or, of course, I don't really think that we're going to see Vala here with Manticore again, and that's also a 16 talent that only comes in the later stages, but there's always Greymane to at least be considered. Do they have much more? I mean, probably not really all that much as a possibility. Greymane is in, as expected, okay. And we get Lucio together with this. So Sound Barrier approach again, and racing around. Banana Age playing the hero a bit more lately. Taking a page out of the Book of Ixia. And the final two picks for the fan club. What is Ty gonna play? What are we gonna get for damage? Is it this time a Jaina? She's still available. Could be nano boosted here. Could also work well with Leo's Entomb. Cassia! We get Cassia actually in this game. Alright, we've seen her yesterday already, played by Quacknix as he subbed in for the Vikings. Now we have Cassia in today's game too, on Aldrich Past. Okay, Jojo at the front. Gets an additional blind in. And it's Cassia time. Cool. Against Greymane. Can of course blind him now too. Have a little bit more of a workaround when Greymane tries to make his plays. Also against Jimmy. Not really that bad. And let's go. Chen as the last pick for Dayquaza. Let's get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Aldrich Pass, map number 3, washed up against Lauber's fan club. Game number 3, Aldrich Pass. Big map for a third one. We are entering this with a tied series. Even score for the teams. Best of 5 series. Of course, here in the winner bracket final. The losing team will drop down into the lower bracket to face off against Feel the Heat. But for now, Hazorps on the left side on Reyna. We have Nick on Greymane, Banana Age on Lucio, Dayquaza on Chen, and Masquerade on Tyrael. To the right side, Deathwing, played by Svamkrota again, Lauber on Johanna. We have Copenhagen on Leoric, Henning on Anna, and Ty is playing Cassia today. Okay, let's bring it. No talent, interestingly enough, for Jimmy. Yeah, maybe for a second thinking about going for Exterminator to put some pressure onto the bosses. We've seen arrow builds for Vala here to get more boss pressure once that they are up, but we still have, once again, the ace in the hole. It is still the dominant talent to be picked outside of Battlefield of Eternity, but Exterminator is by now pretty much the exclusive choice on BOE, and in addition to that, also occasionally picked on other maps, like, let's say, for example, I mean, it can be picked on boss maps, like Cursed Hollow or Aldrich Pass, and we've seen it also, I think, once picked now on the Spider Queen. But generally speaking, ace in the hole outside of BOE is still the more dominant talent. So with this, we have currently as the talents Dragon Soul as the level 1 talent. Actually, now that I see Dragon Soul being picked as the level 1 talent, I think I actually misspoke a bit about the standard build in Europe on Deathwing on the last map. Yeah, there was a bit of a Molten Flame focus that we had from Swamgrota, and that's actually not what we're usually seeing. We see the Molten Flame picks on 13 and 16, but before that, it's actually not quite that play. Skyfall on 7 is the standard talent, but level 1 and level 4 are coming through as we see in this game right now. So that's a standard build on Europe that we've seen so far. There's a couple of adjustments. The Draconic Might, for example, played by Blade, is one of those. But yeah, if you were a little bit confused by me talking about the European Deathwing build on the last map, apologies. I'm pretty sure at this point that I kind of misspoke there a little bit. It's sometimes a bit confusing jumping from the European games into the North American games, and when you cast like 12 hours on a day, things start to blur together a little bit, so yeah, apologies for that. But we'll focus on the build here a bit more, or just go over the talents quickly for everybody that's wondering. Now, the camps are of course not only taken, but they also start trying to time them here. Both of them are currently playing this little game of chicken that we've now seen multiple times. You're just always trying to go for the better position. It's a bit similar to what we sometimes see on, let's say, Sky Temple and Tomb of the Spider Queen, when you take your bruiser camps and you're attempting to just time them properly. And this one is stolen away! Get wrecked! And they try to get the kill too! 30 HP, and they nearly get it. God, I love this play. Brilliant play by Washed Up. That was so fucking good. So pretty much they just stood there and they realized that the same is happening on the other side too. And they were thinking, hey, who's missing us? Like it's Anna. And they just speed in with Lucio and take it away. Unbelievable. What an awesome play by them here. God, I love this. Cheeky as fuck. They come in and just simply steal it away. What you got for us there? Thanks so much. Yeah, really annoying opening now from the fan club's perspective. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Oh, can they get the kill? Oh, Deadwing. Yeah, Deathwing turns into Deadwing as they go for the gank and they take him down. Nicely done. Well played, and of course now the opportunity to maybe even go for the objective. There's an interrupt of Johanna as she drops the quick flashlight, but it's taken after all. Washed Up? They got hammered in game number 1. They got absolutely destroyed, and then in game number 2, for a long time it didn't really look that good either, but they were able to win it, and now they have a fantastic opening into the third map that could lead to an early lead for them. So 7 talents are in. That gives them a slight advantage. Here we go again as Banana H is just jumping around. Does not get hit though by Deathwing. Anna is dead. And I don't know, guys, but Washed Up is really starting to find a bit of momentum here. 7 talents now on both sides. And as I said previously, this is the Deathwing build that we usually see in Europe. Dragon Soul into Heatwave into Skyfall. So yeah, this is the setup that we've seen so far most of the time when Deathwing was occasionally picked on Washed Up side, when we've seen it played by the fan club. So there are adjustments, as I said. For example, the Draconic Might Blade has its own style on the hero. North America plays different talents, and in the last map we had a bit of a weird hybrid there. But for now, that's the standard build that we see in most cases. With the cavalry now in, that's 2 kills against 0. Top lane gets now pushed too, but of course this is still one of the first objectives in the game. So therefore not really scaling all that heavily, but as long as you can break through these walls, maybe take a fountain down, you already are on a winning trajectory. And at the bottom of the map, they're actually aggressively pushing this, taking down the entire wall, going even for a bit more damage against the fountain, but I really think that Banana H needs to get the fuck out of there. Getting some damage in, and he does. Moves down to the bottom. Nobody else really threatened just now. Gets a bit more damage in. I mean, he's teasing at this point. Seriously. This is like, don't overdo it, my friend. Nick against Ty, and whew, that wolf was in trouble. In quite a lot of trouble. But now it seems like Ty might have a bit of a problem here. But it's not getting that bad. I love how everybody's just speeding around here. Banana H is just rotating from lane to lane the entire time and really being aggressive. We have Nick now going for the camp, and the same is happening on the right side. It's a single camp outside of the boss camps that we have on this map, which means that most teams focus on it very aggressively, not only because it can give you some extra experience, but also because it's just a fantastic camp to push the mid lane. Really strong one too. So you will see this play over and over and over again. Whenever the camp is up and the teams have an opportunity, they will go for the camp and just simply push it out again. Bit of pressure at the bottom of the map. Again, Khaldor doesn't have Exterminator. Didn't pick his level 10 ability yet either. There we go. Okay, Hyperion is picked. And on the other side, Valkyrie for good old Cassia. No ball. Yes, Svamkrona sees this, but he won't be able to do anything with that. The bullet is already out. The only thing that he can try and use is the Bellowing Roar, but it shouldn't really allow him to grab this. Okay, Bellowing Roar is in. Hazu stayed back, and so they can go in, but the rotation is there too. And they steal it away. What is this? This is the game of steals. First it was the early camp, and now they steal this one away. The fight is still ongoing. It was actually well played by the blue team. We can come back to that in a second. Cassia goes down and Hazu survives. Anna is dead too. So they steal the boss, but they lose 2 heroes in the aftermath. Nice. Boss is able to break through the wall, and that's kind of nasty. Alright, so off we go. At this point, we have 4 kills against 1, 4 washed up. But yeah, they lost the boss right there. It was well played though. Hazops kept a little bit away from the spot because they expected the Bellowing Roar, of course. So as the boss goes down, Svamkrona moves in, uses Bellowing Roar to take the point and push 2 targets out, and Hazops then walks in to ensure that they still have to connect. But the incoming heroes on the red team side were just a bit too much for them to handle, and then they lose out on the boss. Of course, one of the problems was that they couldn't put enough damage onto Deathwing to just simply dissuade him from moving into that boss spot in the first place, and result of this was also the missing bullet from Nick, who couldn't connect it, threw the bullet out but didn't connect with it. But yeah, that was a pretty interesting game. So now they're pretty much 1-1 when it comes to camp steals. Of course, what would we rather lose? The mid camp or the boss? I think the answer to that is obvious. The blue team is still ahead in experience and might get the early level 13. Wizened Duelist on level 7. And already trying to get the objective here locked in. Greymane is bot lane. Greymane is not with a team, and now we also have Sanctification. Not used yet, but the sound barrier has been used. Triple Panda, by the way, over top can play a potential. 13 talents are now in, and with this we get Sword of Justice. No hold your ground. Holy Ground variation, but Sword of Justice for the additional mobility. Cassia has actually gone into the cooldown reduction on level 13 now. We don't have it with the stacking quest on level 1. Went instead straight up into the charged strikes, but now still goes for the cooldown reduction on level 13 with the Thunder God's Vigor right there. And we have Deathwing actually heading into the Ruination. So not going into the Molten Flame talents here. Leo is down at the bottom of the map. They try to take him apart, but Masquerade is also suffering here in the middle. Still able to move away though. Lauber and Dequaza locked into a small fight, but they're really trying to just get the next cavalry going through here. 5 kills against 1 just highlights the team fight abilities of Washed Up. There's another setup though, as they're starting to go in with a Hyperion, zoning the opponent out completely and attempting to now get at least a lead on the prisoner camp. And indeed they do. It's a tiny lead though, because immediately we have 2 people channeling. And since Greymane had to retreat and is now taking the camp in the middle of the map again, nobody else could do anything there either. So off we go. Red team is attempting to turn it around on the objective. They get interrupted once, get interrupted twice, 3 times now, and they might have to give this up for now. 23,000 damage against 21,000 damage. Cassia is still doing what she can here. Not a hero that we see a whole lot. Very rarely played. Recently, the last 2-3 days, a little bit more, but very, very rarely picked as a choice. Honestly, it's mostly Quack that has picked it. He played it with Dick Tick as they were playing in the Master Slash qualifier, and he played it once yesterday. But outside of Quacknix playing the hero, probably for nostalgic reasons, Kappa, this is the only Cassia pick that we've seen so far, outside of Quack using it. So now we have 6 kills against 1. Objective is still slightly advancing for Washed Up. They're really trying to hold on to it this time. They don't have level 16 talents yet, but they still have the position here and can push the opponent back after they got the kill against Anna, so that really helps them to try and secure themselves another cavalry, and that would be a big one. Now we're 11 minutes in, so it's not really a game-deciding element just yet, but it's definitely a lot stronger than what we've previously observed here. And they are going to get it. So that's going to be forts eliminated for sure. 6 kills against 1 still. The problem is not really the cavalry. That in and of itself is already a nuisance. But if you look at experience, he has a level 16 talent. So this is a big push. All the advantages in the hands of Washed Up now. Paint them red is already in. The bullet connects with Svamgrota. And Deadwing is dead again. Yeah, also Alpha Killer at this point, which is big. Lucio, on the other hand, gets just murdered. Cassia absolutely murdering him here. Valkyrie set up, and then the quick drop against him. So we have a 4 versus 4 as the cavalry makes it in finally. Up at the top, the Panda has to use the ult as Leo traps him with the Entomb, but the fight isn't over by any means. Instead, they're focusing on Cassia right now. Tai is escaping. There's again the Hyperion. Nick is also rushing away from the scene of the crime. But top lane and bot lane, that's where the Valkyrie is certainly doing serious damage. Everybody just barely escaping here, and the Panda isn't even done yet. Still sticking around in the mid lane for a bit longer before he starts to jump out. The fort is already long gone, and the same is true of the fort at the bottom at the top lane. Top lane actually is still there, but not long enough for Leo to do anything about it. So we are actually looking at all 3 forts being taken off the map on the side of the fan club. Elementium plating is now in for Deathwing as well on the level 16 choice. Cassia has continued with Pierce. Again, did not go for level 1 stacking, but still picks the level 13 and the level 16 talents for the Lightning Fury. And it's time for the boss again. And they rotated over to this one quite quickly. But the red team is already trying to see if this is going on. They are reacting immediately. And that creates another hot zone at the bottom of the map. So this time, are they moving away from it? Red team wants to take over. Leo is on the way. They got Blessed Shield. They got the Bellowing Roar. Are they willing to let it leash? Seems like not quite. They're still trying to fight around it. Okay, boss is still leashed. There's the attack against Leo. And Copenhagen. Barely alive, but they're pinning them into the choke point now. Trying to take them apart here. They're completely trapped. Anna is trying to keep them alive. Nano boost on Cassia and the double kill. Big value at this point. Cassia with solid damage. Down goes Greymane. She's sitting at 39,000 damage in this game. Not quite as much as Jimmy, but still looking powerful. And yeah, that double kill actually allows them to take the boss, as the blue team is moving into the middle of the map, trying to open up the wall at the keep and also trying to steal a couple of camps away. But either way, this boss is going to do a whole lot of work right now. Boss is going to be taken. Leo is already sitting in the middle, is seeing what's happening here. But can't change it. I mean, that one's taken away. Gotta get it, I suppose. So bot lane boss is now claimed. That should at least be 1 fort that is eliminated. Some of the heroes are already moving back, Cassia being one of them. And everybody else is already pressing the B button to Hearthstone back quickly. Easy defense over here at the end of the day. There's not too much happening. But just generally speaking, I mean, it's a nasty lineup. 18 against 18, this third map is pretty much all that we wanted. It's a great series. I mean, every single time we see these two teams go up against each other, it is just absolutely fantastic. Great games that we had thus far. Third game is also shaping up to be fantastic. Great stun, by the way. Nick, in this case, gets murdered. And now that they have to defend, and Nick is in plain sight, top lane boss gets also taken. So the red team with a really good reaction, getting bosses all over the place. But they might actually sacrifice the next wave of cavalry is in. So the prisoner camp is taken and the rotation is now underway. They might be able to fight for this one. It's still 30 seconds that are needed to complete the channel. But they are in a spot where they still have control through the top lane, where Deathwing and the boss are now pushing. But is the blue team able to finish this and bring it over time? It's a bit doubtful. 20 seconds in. Deathwing hasn't really moved away from the top side just yet, so they're still trying to get them. Oh, Blessed Shield misses. Valkyrie misses too. Damn. That's 2 cooldowns that just went completely far afield. And that's a kill against Ana. Alright, Sanctification is out. That all of a sudden changed the dynamic here quite a bit. Bullet gets thrown out again. Lauber is moving away, but the cavalry is now taken. Boss at the top, that's the question. How much can that bad boy do? And it doesn't really seem like he's going to be able to take the keep. Especially not with Hazorps already moving back. So he's going to shoot that down quickly. And now with the cavalry coming in and nearly level 20 for the blue team. The red team is still ahead. But there's a chance right now where they can try and maybe even take a keep down. There is definitely an opportunity for them. And they might actually lose that. So, let's see. 20 talents are in. Buried alive. Both teams, by the way. Both teams on their 20. Both teams on Storm talents. And in this case, we have Tooth and Claw. Yeah, Tooth and Claw, I don't see it all that much, but there it is. Attack in the mid lane as they're trying to go for the keep. Cassia has by now also the Titan's Revenge, and Tai might be in trouble here. Cassia is low, and Cassia is down, but the counter kill against Tyrael. Tries to get a little bit of trade value and get some solid cooldown reduction, just a bit, and also damage in through the explosion. 20 versus 20 now. And the keep is still in play. Keep at the bottom of the map is also taking damage. So pretty much all of the keeps are damaged, but not a single one has been eliminated. I'm actually surprised that nobody stuck around in the mid lane in order to take the final few hit points off the mid lane keep. On the side of Washed Up, I think that would have been a smart move there. They even have pressure at the top, but the wall is still not completely eliminated. They're still fighting at the bottom here, trying to get more damage in. In comes the drop of Deathwing, but Lauber is low, and he goes down. Hyperion gets used too, and they're already pinging their keep in the attempt to take it apart, but that's not the only thing that they drop. They take Deathwing down too. This is an easy one to take. I mean, why is there no rotation into the middle? There we go. That should have been pretty much instantaneous here. So they're going straight in, especially Greyman, of course, can murder that without any problem at all. Can even go for the camp now. 2 keeps down, Washed Up looking stellar now. Looking really good here. 57,000 damage on Jimmy, 53,000 on Cassia. Greymane has 50k. Deathwing is sitting on 33,000. And the problem is, of course, still, I mean, Deathwing, right now, not really having the impact that Lauber's Fanclub was hoping for. So it's actually really paying off for Washed Up to not ban the hero out or pick him right away. So this could be the second Deathwing loss in a row. Okay, there's the Valkyrie, and Masquerade has to sank it up, but that allows them to go for Leo, and they get the kill. And that's the final keep eliminated. The final keep is down. No more armor shields on the boss. And this one is getting threatened insanely at this point. You take a boss, top lane or bot lane, the game's pretty much over. You go for the objective and you lock this one in, same result. Washed Up is in such a commanding lead that it is nearly impossible for the Fanclub to come back here. The only way to claw their way back into it might just be to go for a team wipe, try and get the kill set up, and then try and snowball it. But I really think this is the only thing that could potentially be done. And now that the Panda's jumping in, they seem to be losing Cassia. The nano boost is straight up on her. But Tai is low and he is pressured. They're losing too much here. Deathwing is down. Ana is eliminated. They're trying to go for the kill against Lauber. He's dead too. And that's the end of game number 2. The Fanclub started this series with a victory, but now they lost 2 games in a row and Washed Up. Not sure if they had their coffee or what's going on here, but they are doing exceptionally well. Third map was so far their best, and they take the Fanclub down. Also, putting the second loss onto Deathwing here. GG and well played as Washed Up takes the W on Aldrich Pass. Game number 4. Let's go. Cursed Hollow is the map. I'm pretty happy about that, actually. I love this map. It's a really good one of the oldest maps that we have in the pool. And I'm a little bit hyped for this, because this is a map where we could see a lot of stuff happening right now. Around, well, first of all, let's say Jimmy with Exterminator. We've actually seen him once for the boss control. We have an opportunity to maybe even see Abathur again on the map. There's, of course, still Tyrael with Sanctification around for boss control 2. You could see a bit more of a global focus with Falstad. We've seen 2 times Deathwing, so the question is if Deathwing maybe even makes it into this game now. But either way, this could be the last one. Kerrigan gets banned again, and that doesn't really look like a big surprise now. But yeah, let's jump in and see how we're gonna do this. Cursed Hollow is great. This could be a good setup. This could be a 5-mapper again, but of course, maybe Washed Up has what it takes to win the 3rd game in a row now and shut the Fanclub down. But after the Kerrigan ban, is Zarya getting banned again, for example, on the map? It's kind of likely. I'm still I'm still on the camp where I'm saying like, okay guys, how about the Hazu Ops memory lane Viking pick? Don't think it's happening, but it would be pretty awesome. So yeah. Let's have a quick look at the second ban. I want to see where Deathwing lands now. Deathwing is interesting to me now, after we've seen him now lose twice in a row, and actually picked twice in a row, which is a bit more surprising even. So here comes the ban against Abathur. And now the question, do they let Deathwing go through again? And if they do, is Deathwing even getting picked in the first slot here? Especially Tyrael will also be interesting, because Washed Up has actually been playing Tyrael a ton, and this is a really good map for him. It's good enough that I think there might be a chance that the fan club is thinking about picking him for themselves. So now Deathwing is up again. Zarya has been banned, as already a bit suggested. And of course, the big question. Deathwing, yes, no? And if he's not picked immediately, are we going to see him maybe even make it to the next ban phase and being banned out there? There's the Vala pick, exactly. Now Washed Up has a chance to pick Deathwing for themselves. They haven't played him yet. It was twice in the hands of the fan club. Okay, let's see. I love how they hesitate here. It's just really the debate, okay, what are we going to do right now? Let's go. Jimmy and Malfurion. Yeah, and the Jimmy pick again. Ace in the hole or Exterminator. With two bosses on the map, you could definitely go for Exterminator as well. If you have another damage dealer that is able to really act as your main source of damage in a lot of these setups. So yeah. The fan club right now. They must be a bit frustrated. Just a tiny bit. They looked so great in game number 1. It wasn't only that they won the map, it was like how they won it. And here's the Tyrael pick. So this time they actually take it away from Washed Up. As I said, it's a pick that Washed Up really loves to go for. So they ignore Deathwing for now. Could still be ending up as a ban. But it's kind of cool that we have the fan club in this case now just simply taking the actual hero away that the opponent most likely wanted to play there. So yeah, that's a nice one too. And Junkrat. Okay, Junkrat gets banned. What's the fan club getting rid of now, though? And you already got Tyrael here. You've Washed Up on the other side. You're looking at Nick in particular. Already banned out his Carrigan. So that's something he can't play. They have Reyna. They're not going to drop Tracer into the mix. So it's most likely going to be some setup with another mage that is going to be used here. Li Ming is up. So is Jaina. Both of them, of course, a threat. If you want to ban one of them out. And they go for the front line. They ban actually Garrosh against Masquerade. It's not really a bad pick either. Sorry, a bad ban either, in any ways. But let's see. The more interesting, or very interesting, is also that we don't have Ana. She wasn't banned. She's not banned and she's not picked. Malfurion in the choke points over here can of course do a whole lot with the roots. Malfurion laying down the lawn here. But Medivh, nice! The Medivh pick again. Leyline into Apocalypse is now possible. Kinda slipped my mind. I gotta be honest, it slipped my mind completely. Probably Hazu Ops on the hero again. Medivh and Diablo, they got the combo here. And now the fan club might be in a bit of trouble. That's gonna be wild, potentially. Hazu Ops might just be the one on Medivh to completely turn this game, or this series, and finish what they started. There's the Haka, and there's Maiev. Aggressive setup. Quite the aggressive setup. And Washed Up. Last pick. They need some damage. Actually, they need an offlaner, sorry. They got Reyna and they got Medivh. That's going to be enough for now. But the offlaner would be nice if he had some damage as well. I was earlier thinking, they go for Deathwing. Last pick Deathwing with a chicken skin. Last pick Deathwing, and let's go. Washed Up against Lauber's fan club. Fourth, maybe the last map in the series. Let's go straight into Cursed Hollow. Game number 4. Let's get this baby on the road. Yep, Cursed Hollow is the map, washed up in the lead against the Fanclub, and on the left side we have once again Hazorbs playing Medivh, spicing it up here. Really nice setup for them, just in general, so a pretty solid performance so far that we've seen here. And let's see if they can pull it off. Nick is playing Reyna, Banana H on Malfurion, we have Dequaza on Deathwing, Masquerade on Diablo, Svamgrotta is playing Maiev, we have Copenhagen on Dehaka, Henning on Rhaegar, Tyrael played by Lauber, and Tai on Vala. Deathwing with the chicken skin. It's the worst tint ever. I mean, seriously, he looks like a plucked chicken right there. It is hashtag awkward. But anyways, let's see what they can actually pull off here. And look at the level 1 choice for Reyna. As I said, this is a map where you can definitely go into Exterminator, just simply because you have 2 bosses, there's a lot of camps available. If you have other good sources of damage, then that is definitely an option for you. And you can execute a couple of macro plays. One of the reasons why we have the arrow build is actually the exact same pattern. They're thinking about taking boss control once that they spawn after the 5-minute mark. And it's something to easily be done here. Aggressive stance from the Fanclub. They're trying to take early control of the game, but Diablo is about to go in for it. And Masquerade plays a mean Diablo. He really plays an absolutely terrifying Diablo. Wall stuns is something that he's going to execute all over the place later on. I can already guarantee you that much. He is incredibly scary on that hero. But yeah, we'll see how that works out for them. For now, it's all about the camps though, as we're having them taken. Yeah, so all about the camp action right here. This one is already getting claimed. Down to the bottom left, of course, we see a very similar setup now as well, as they're taking this one too. And over to the right side, it hasn't really stopped. Henning himself on Rhaegar is using all of that wave clear that he has to the same effect and taking this quickly. So yeah, nicely done by him. Medivh was floating around in the air a little bit, and they needed to be careful with that. Hazorbs is currently looking at a single stack that he currently holds over the opponent. Top side, that's where Deathwing is attempting to push all of this out in the meantime. Let's see what he can actually do with that. And, well, what else are we going to see? That chicken in the 1-on-1 setup, everybody else moving into the middle of the map now with the camps that were just claimed a second earlier. And what can they actually do here? I mean, for the time... For right now, one of the biggest things is, of course, to just attempt to get a couple of kills, maybe take a couple of structures down and set yourself slightly ahead for the fight over the tributes themselves. And this is what we're currently observing right now, as Medivh is sitting at the bottom of the map in the attempt to take those siege giants down. Yeah, and what else are we going to go for? By the way, here again, Dragon Soul, Heatwave, and then we're going to go into Skyfall on level 7, as highlighted in the last game. We still have 0 stacks for Vala. I mean, Tai only had a level where he could start to stack it a bit. Gets the first stack now acquired as he hits the arrow onto Masquerade. So that's that. And, well, with the tether, they're trying to put Nick under some pressure, but he is completely unimpressed here. Dehaka and Deathwing are both sitting up at the top. We could soon make the players here. But off we go. Slightly inexperienced for Washed Up. And now, of course, an opportunity to go for the first tribute. Interrupt should be there, and it is. But Tai gets also attacked. So does Nick, though. Gets the portal and makes it out, but barely. Needs to be super careful here. And Medivh is going to be the linchpin in this game. Hazorbs had a great performance on Medivh earlier, and now they have also combo potential on level 10 with the Apocalypse Leyline combo that they could execute there real easily to set something up for the damage dealers to simply drop in and take this down. And that's what we're going to see there, quite likely. So it is really the blue team that is currently making most of the pressure plays. The chicken drops in from above. Dehaka didn't make a move yet. No interrupt this time. And Hazorbs completes the channel on the first tribute. Dehaka, of course, gets a bit of additional experience for the team. But having that lead in the first place with level 7, that is just now getting closed by the red team, that allowed them to get the tribute. And now that we're also looking at 4 minutes in the game, it's only another minute until those bosses start to pop up, and that's where Exterminator and Vala's built with Monster Hunter on level 1 become incredibly powerful. Repeating Arrow, of course, playing a huge role there too. But especially the Exterminator setup is just so insane lately. If you have Inspire up, the extra damage that you dish out with it is kinda nuts. Masquerade, still fine here. Sitting at 63 stacks, by the way. And also, Medivh on 10 stacks now. So not really stacking as aggressively. There's not a lot of team fighting happening right now. Even around the tribute, we didn't see a whole lot of it. It was more so the poke to just go for the delay. So there's not really a lot that could be done. But Medivh has to be cautious up to the point where he finally completes the quest. Another setup at the bottom of the map as the next tribute is going to spawn soon. They're going for Vala and they get it. The penetrating round of Nick, like a boss, comes in and drops her. Cowgirl down. And over here, Medivh was actually threatening the Siege Giant camp for just a moment. But this is the second tribute now for Washed Up. There's no chance for the fan club to fight around it since they just lost Vala. And that's, of course, one of the most important heroes for the lineup here. But at the same time now, Quasar and Copenhagen are fighting around the top lane. And Dehaka is not really looking great here. He's getting pushed back time and time again. And Quasar is starting to take the hit points of the fort itself down. Now, of course, the move towards the boss. And that's as said. Exterminator, mad damage. Up at the top, Vala, as you can tell, is already getting some decent Monster Hunter damage in too, but the problem for them is that they are just way behind on this. They're totally behind. I mean, the boss is already taken long time ago at the bottom of the map. The rotation won't be here in time to interrupt anything, so it will be taken by the red team, that's definitely true, but they can still start to rotate in to try and force a fight afterwards and maybe drop something here. Not quite. Hazops even gets stunned out. But they should be able to drop this boss pretty easily now, especially with Hazops already being around here. At the bottom of the map, this one has already done some solid work. Thanks to Quasar helping the boss out, the entire wall has been obliterated and that fort is going to fall one way or another. Whereas topside, with 4 heroes defending, that one doesn't stand a chance. So a much better setup now for Washed Up on structures at least. It's not a massive lead. I mean, in kills they are 1 kill ahead, so it's not really the end of the game just yet. But still, that boss could do a lot at the bot lane still, with now Deathwing starting to jump in at the top too. 5 versus 5 setup on even talents. Yeah, Masquerade gets his quest completed and gets the portal to move out here. Really tricky to kill anybody now against this. And the boss at the bottom of the map is still doing a bit of work. Escorts the entire wave in, gets defended over here by the towers, but still. Ley line against the Sanctification, and there it is, the big setup. Oh boy, what a beautiful combo again. They get a double kill, they get a triple kill, and that was just fucking fantastic. First of all, Sanctification gets more or less cancelled by the ley line again, since it expires as the ley line is active. And then the follow-up with the Apocalypse is beautiful. Stuns out 4 heroes, they kill 3, now they can go for Dehaka. Jimmy's sitting in the middle of the map and defending against the previously taken camp of the red team. And what a lead now. 5 kills against 0, and this is just bonkers. Mid lane gets attacked, they're diving in deep for all of this, and yeah, it's rough. Really rough for the fan club. There's the disc coming out. They're still trying to force the fight. Medivh with the portal set up again to save his teammates. Top fort has fallen now too. Curse is active as they're starting to make the play for the backline again. Svamkrota is a little bit low. And Quasar, no fucks given, going straight in, trying to go for the kill. Oh, 9 hit points! And Quasar actually dies. He went 1v4 and nearly got the Maiev kill, but he dies at the end of it. Now they're still going for the fort. Since they were able to take out Tyrael, it's still a 4 versus 4 on the map. Fort saved for now. It's not gonna fall, not just yet. And they go for the boss, for the camp instead at the bottom of the map. Or do they? Actually, in this case, they let it slide. Instead, they are staying at the fort and take it apart. 6 kills against 1, 13 against 12. What a setup again. I mean, holy shit. Yeah, that was actually pretty insane. The Deathwing battle against 4 heroes was just crazy. And honestly, Maiev should have fallen there. She had 8 or 9 hit points. And I mean, if he gets the trade, that's also totally worth it. As it happens, he occupied them for a long time. Maybe went a little bit too deep, but still. 13 talents are now ready for both teams, which means we also have Fire and Fury at this point. Okay. And over here, another camp already gets slowly locked in. All the forts are down. Every single fort on the red team side has been eliminated. We're going to see a lot of fights over the bosses as they spawn again. It's 1 minute and 10 for the bosses to come back. Lauber, there's the first wall stun, and he is getting out. Or is he? Because he's already sniffed out. He might actually die here. I think there's a really good chance that he is going to die. Have fun jumping away from this one. Rest of the team is coming in. And Deathwing is also saying hello. Yeah, Lauber with the Sanctification in the back. He's low, but they get the Malfurion kill. There's the APOC, and this time it doesn't really do anything. Tyrael is dead. Could get some explosion value if he plays it correctly. Ancestral on the Haka. The drag connects with Jimmy, and that's another kill. 2-for-1 trade for the fan club. Nicely done. They turned this really well. That looked initially like it would be a big problem, and Tyrael might fall without any repercussions. But they were able to get 2 kills against 1. And now they have a bit of momentum here. Mid lane is still getting pressured, by the way. There's also catapults now set up. And at the bottom of the map, the siege giants have to be taken care of. Hazobs is sitting on 31 stacks out of the 40 that he needs to complete the quest. And Vala is sitting at 12. So she is still in need of another 8 to complete her level 4. Interrupts are there. I don't really think they can interrupt it for much longer. A little bit of Moonfire. Okay, they actually get another interrupt through. Also allows the camp in the mid lane to push even longer. Boss is starting to also go for the red team. Curse is about to be taken. Actually, they let it go for now. Maiev has also moved away from it. And guys, this is doing more and more damage. There's still a big wave here. It's not going to take the keep down, but it will definitely destroy the wall here. And that is already pretty fantastic. And they're immediately focusing their attention onto the boss because they know fully well what's going to happen on the right side. So the tribute is actually taken, and they're going to take the boss. This is kind of insane. They had the better position initially, Lauber's fan club that is, but now they're looking at a setup where, like, I don't know how to say it, but it's like they had to give up the tribute, they had to give up the boss. They're going, of course, for the counter boss at the top, but you can tell on the minimap what the difference is. This one has to move through a fort. The one at the bottom of the map, fort is already destroyed, can go straight in for the keep, where even the towers have halfway been eliminated. And it's a level 16 talent advantage for them out too. Okay, so yeah, there's another camp that they're trying to take, and this should be keep. They have to, of course, make sure that they're also then defending the top lane if there's any additional pressure. But they are doing extremely well here. 16 versus 16 now. Big pressure against the back, zoning them already a little bit. Deathwing is coming in, using the... not using his ult just yet, but using his master just to move that out. Apocalypse and Leyline, this time not properly timed. The disc is in as well, and that could be a kill, and it is. Rhaegar is down, but Banana Age is also eliminated. Lauber gets the kill, he's trying to escape though, but Dibbles goes for the drop against the Haka. Dinosaur gets extinguished again. Tyrael is also dead. And Deathwing wants to go for Swampgota, who vaults it. Maiev able to get away here. Deathwing still making the jump. I'm not quite sure what Quasar is doing here half the time, but he's able to just go in deep and get the kill against Vala. They go for the core. I mean, like, what? They're actually able to pull this off. They have 4 heroes down. They got the Vala kill. I honestly thought that Vala and Maiev might be able to kill Deathwing instead, but no, far from it. Quasar survives, and that is likely the end of the game. 23% on the core, and they are going for it. Ladies and gentlemen, washed up after initially losing the first map. They win 3 in a row, and they advance to the grand final of the tournament. Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.